Hi YouTube, it's Lindy and Dusty here tonight, and I thought I would talk about today some things I don't like about living in China. And I'm not saying I hate it here, I'm actually really quite happy here, and no place in the world is perfect, but I just thought I'd talk about this in case you were thinking of maybe living in China, or doing a job, or going on vacation, just to help get you ready for some of the stuff you might encounter, and this totally might not bother you or you might hate this. I'm just saying personally what I don't like here, and the thing that you're going to notice first and foremost is they will stare at you. I do understand I'm in a small town and there aren't many foreigners here, and most of the other foreigners have dark skin, and you can probably count the number of white people in this town on one hand, me being one of them. So in a city of 4.5 million people with about 5 white people, I understand I'm a little special, but I really don't like it when somebody is like at me when I happen to walk by. People also will try and take pictures of you, and I'm not really entirely sure what they're doing with these pictures. I guess I'm not sure if I want to know this, but there have been times where I've just been sitting on the bus munching on my apple and somebody has been snapping away with their camera phone. And you just say like Busha Huan, like I don't like that, stop. But sometimes they don't stop, and that can be kind of annoying. And normally I'm super cool about it. If somebody wants to take a picture with me and they come and ask me, can I please take a picture with you? Sure, that's fine, unless I'm like in a hurry or something. But if I'm just hanging out and people want to take pictures with me because they think I'm a model or something, yeah, I know, it's weird. Like, I'm not a model. But yeah, they don't see white people around here a whole lot, so when they do see them, it's kind of a big deal. And if they want to take a picture with me, that's fine. Just please ask first. Don't like do the candid camera, try to take a picture of me thing. So that's just something I don't like. If you're a Chinese person and you're watching this, please ask. I know a lot of foreigners feel the same way, and if you ask, they'll probably say yes. But again, you gotta respect that sometimes people might be in a hurry, or they might be grouchy, or they might feel like they're just not looking their best that day, and don't take it personally if they don't want to take a picture with you. Something else that bothers me is people will say stuff that I think is kind of rude. In the United States, they teach little kids if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. That's not exactly a lesson the kids are taught here. Like, I will admit I'm a little chubby. Like, I wouldn't say I'm huge, but I'm a little chubby, especially by Chinese standards. And I've had students say, Lindy, you are so fat. And my response is, I know. And I do understand kids sometimes say things that aren't exactly appropriate. That's part of growing up, is learning what's okay to say when and what you cannot say, and everything will be totally fine. I've had adults tell me that I was fat. I have had adults grab my sides here, and I'm like, oh my God, stop. That's not okay. And I think they do it because they're just saying like, oh, like you're a little chubby, like do something about it. We're concerned for your health. Whereas in the United States, we would find that rude and we probably wouldn't say anything. So that's just something that kind of bothers me here. But yeah, you just kind of learn to get used to it. Like, yeah, I'm a little chubby, whatever. That's just the way it is. And yeah, I just try to not let it bother me. Something that does kind of annoy me, that I don't know if I'm ever going to get over this, is in the United States, when you're at the store, the customer's always right. If you say, hey, can I please have this in whatever size, if they have it, they'll get it for you. Or they'll say, I'm sorry, we don't have that. You can come back like on whatever, or we're not going to get this back in stock. Or they'll try their best to like make you happy. Here, it's not like that. I went to buy oatmeal one day and I wanted this certain brand of oatmeal. And for some reason, the lady who was working the floor decided I needed this other kind. And I'm like, oh, no, thank you. I don't want that. I'm comfortable with this stuff. And I went and I took what I wanted off the shelf. And she like took the stuff that I picked out of my hands and put another brand in my hands. And I'm like, no, I don't want this. Thank you. And I put it back and I got the other stuff. And she tries to give me the brand that she thought I needed. No, that's not what I want. And this went on, and finally I just like slammed it down really hard and I left. but that's not normal here. And if you ask, like, oh, excuse me, I need blah, 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 I've had some people that are really, really good and will try to help me. And I've had some that, like, act like it's super annoying and they'd really just rather not. And I noticed when I was hurt, I guess little backstory, I went to Hawaii in February of 2016 and I fell off Lahi Lahi Point and broke 5 bones in my foot. And it really was sucky, but I had a little knee scooter that I was riding around on, and that made my life so much easier. But the problem was stairs. I couldn't get up the stairs, and I would see people like just staring at me, like shop owners just staring at me as I was trying to get up the stairs. In America, I know they would run out and they would help you get up the stairs, or they would say, can I bring whatever it is out here so you can look at it? Here, nope. They just stare. And there was one time I was at the airport in Beijing, and there was this little hedgehog doll in a store that I wanted to look at, and there was like a little step thingy to get up into the store. And I was trying to get up into it with the scooter, and I had only gotten the scooter a couple days ago, so I was still learning, and these shopkeepers are just watching me try and get up the little step. And I actually fell off the scooter. It really hurt. Instead of coming to help me, like, oh my God, are you okay? They just kept staring, and I got back on my scooter and scooted away in a huff, because I'm not going to buy something if they're not going to provide customer service to me. And that might be just me being an American and thinking, oh, customer's always right. I understand different cultures have different ways of doing things, but that just made me angry, and that's not been a one-time thing. That's happened quite a bit, that the customer is not always right. And something else they do that I guess you'd call lack of customer service is they will make additions to your food. I have gone to restaurants where they've had the description in English on the menu where it says, oh, example, pizza with pineapple and ham and cheese. Okay, Hawaiian, basically. When you get the pizza, they will have put raisins on there. It said nothing in the menu about raisins. I've had it where I ordered rice and there was a whole bunch of like orange stuff on the top that I'm pretty sure was dried crab, and the menu said nothing about that, but they add little surprises to your food, and it might just be something I personally don't like and I can just pick it off. But I think if you had allergies or something, that could be a problem. And you might just want to communicate that with whoever's making you food, or at the restaurant, communicate that with the staff. I am allergic to blah, blah, blah. So they don't decide to make any little additions to your food, or just because the menu says that, oh, this item is made of this, this, and the next thing, that doesn't mean there aren't going to be any little surprises on it. And that was not just one restaurant. That's happened multiple times. And most of the time, I just try and pick it off or eat around it, or try it if it doesn't seem too scary. But if you really are allergic to something, or you really just don't like something and having it in there would ruin the entire bowl of food, I think you should probably tell them. And on the subject of telling people stuff, I'm not sure if this is just the place I work or if this is a Chinese culture thing. But in America, I know we try to communicate schedule changes as soon as humanly possible. But I have had it where I've gotten a text message on my phone that said, oh, hey, we added a new class to your schedule. It starts in 2 hours. Don't be late. And I got a little upset about that because I was there the previous day and I was not informed. iWork has a mandatory meeting every week that you go to where you talk about the classes and you plan ahead. I was not told about this new addition then. And I've had that happen a few times where things have been changed or the time has been changed and I've gotten a phone call, where are you? Class started. No one told me. You can't expect me to be there if you don't tell me. And I'm not sure if that's just my work, but I've had other friends that have done the ESL thing and they've said you just need to kind of get used to it. But I feel like that's not really conducive to me or the students, because if I had decided to go out of town or something on that day and I wasn't there, then I don't know how they expect me to teach the class. And if I were to say that, like, oh, I'm in another province, I can't do this, they would expect me to magically appear like somehow bend the laws of time travel and just magically appear, because they'll listen to what you have to say. And I know this is a Chinese thing where they won't outright say, oh, you're wrong, or oh, this is a bad idea, but they'll just go, okay, okay. And when they say okay, it's not okay, I agree with you, it's okay, I understand what you said and I heard you. So, for example, today we were talking about an open house thing we're going to hold, and one of the other teachers who has dark skin said, don't tell the kids I'm going to have a black teacher. Just tell the kids I'm going to have a foreign teacher. Because saying somebody's skin color here, there's a lot of negative connotations about dark skin being working class and poor and uneducated. So she said, no, don't say that. Just say I'm going to have a foreign teacher come in and talk to you guys. And she could not get it through her head that she was trying to say that you shouldn't tell them the skin color, just let them figure it out on their own. They're going to see her when she comes into the class. But she was just like, oh, but I need to. No, you don't. No, you don't. It doesn't matter if it's Lindy or if it's this other girl or if it's, say, somebody who was of Asian descent that grew up in America and was a native English speaker. It doesn't matter. She thought it was important to say that this person had dark skin. And come hell or high water, that was how it was going to be. Never mind the fact that my coworker doesn't want to deal with crying children, that might be scared, that doesn't want to deal with preconceived notions like, oh, she doesn't know how to speak English, she doesn't know what she's doing. So sometimes they don't listen, and I know this might not be exactly the best thing to do, but I've had it where the textbook that they're teaching the kids out of actually has Chinglish in it, and I've brought it up, like that's not correct. You don't say most sloppily. No, you say sloppiest. Like that is the sloppiest paint job I've ever seen. No, you don't say that is the most sloppily paint job I've ever seen. You say sloppiest. But I guess that wasn't okay because it was, no, Lindy Lauscher, book says. And I said, who wrote the book? Was it a native English speaker or was it somebody who lived in China and learned English? And I knew the answer because the name was on the book and the publishing company was in China. And I said, yeah, who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to a native English speaker or are you going to listen to this book? And apparently, even though I spent 23 years in the United States, all my primary school, my high school, my college was taught in English. Apparently, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So, whatever. Sometimes you just have to accept that they're not going to listen to you, even if you're trying to help, and they're just going to be wrong, and you just have to let them say it. But I'm under contract, so when I teach the kids the correct way, and I tell them, book is not right. You need to listen to me because I care about them speaking English correctly. And yeah, I'm under contract. They can't really do anything to me. Something that's not work-related, but I have to deal with on a daily basis because it's China and I do walk to work, is the poop in the road. There is a ton of icky stuff in the road. I am talking excrement. I am talking garbage. I am talking vomit. And just about any other icky thing you could think of that's in the road. Because people will walk their dogs, and if the dog poops, they don't pick it up. And with little kids, if they're not potty trained yet in the summer, they have these pants that are like open in the back and sort of in the front. So if the kid needs to go potty, they just kind of squat and they just go, and you see kids just peeing in bushes. You see them just kind of squatting and going poop in the road, and that took me a little bit to get used to. So you need to be careful where you're walking. I told a friend that it's kind of like living in the state fair, like all the time, because you need to watch out for poop and icky stuff. And I'm not sure why they don't pick up the poop. Like, I understand that's gross and you don't want to touch it, but I think it's just a courtesy thing. But I guess here it's not, and you just have to kind of get used to where you're walking and pay attention. And if you have these shoes that you really, really, really love and you don't want them to get dirty, I might suggest leaving them at home or carrying them in your bag and change whenever you get to where you're going, just if you're worried about it. And I don't know if you've been watching, but this is my hedgehog Bart. He is number 2 out of my 3 babies. And the way I got him is I was walking home one night and I ran into a guy who had him in a bucket, and I'm pretty sure he was just gonna dump him in the park because he got sick of him. And I more or less bullied this guy out of this hedgehog and brought him home, and he was filthy. It took me 4 baths to get him clean. He was covered in bugs, and it was really bad, but this guy had given me his phone number, and I was messaging him like, so did you just find him? What's going on? And he said that he had had this animal for a year, and he hadn't bothered to name him. He hadn't bothered to like take good care of him, and he had just gotten sick of him, and he was just going to dump him in the park. And that's not an uncommon thing here when people get tired of animals, or they get old, or they start peeing everywhere, or they just like make life a little inconvenient. They will just go and dump them in the park or dump them in the street. And I've had friends that have rescued animals that were just going to get dumped. And here, I guess that's okay. They think animals are just like items. Like if you don't want this purse or if you don't want this pair of shoes anymore, it's out of season. They just get rid of them, and I don't think animals should be treated like that. And at the grocery stores, they do have live animals, and I do understand if you get chicken or beef or whatever, it was alive at one point and then they killed it, but maybe that's just me being American. I see all these fish and these frogs and the turtles like going like this against the glass at the supermarket, and I feel really bad, so I go as fast as I can out of that section, and I don't think that's something I'll ever get used to, because I love pets, and even if they're not pets, I think they should be treated with, like, I guess, dignity, and just seeing them at the grocery store kind of makes me sad, and seeing guys with baskets just with baby ducks that they sell to people, and they buy them because they're cute for their kids, and they have no clue how to take care of these things, and they die within a couple days. I think that's sad that they treat animals just like something fun to buy for their kids, and if it's inconvenient, you can just dump it. That's something that upsets me. But like I said before, no country's perfect. Nowhere in the world is this wonderful, sparkly, happy land of happiness, like, because that's not real. Every place has good things and every place has bad things. And in a couple days, I'll make a list of good things, but I just wanted to talk about this in case you planned on coming to China, so you can maybe mentally prepare yourself or think about if this is the right place for you. Okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.